You see all kinds of fancy ironwork and ornamental work in an area like New Orleans. We did that. You see an area called Broadway in New York City. We built that. Down there where Wall Street is in New York on Trinity, we built that. The roads here in Delaware, we built that. The railroads, we built that. We built this country. You know, it doesn't take a lot. Just go on the internet now and you see it for yourself. We built this country for free. There were no unions or wages, we were slaves, but we built this country.
Hey guys, I'm always Michelle with BInfluenced. I'm here with Andrew Snorton. How you doing today?
Hey, doing great. How you doing this afternoon?
Great, great. Well, it's a pleasure to finally sit down and talk to you. I know you got so much going on.
Well, I mean, y'all have your share of things going on too, but I really appreciate the opportunity, so thank you.
Most definitely, and be ready to be influenced. So Andrew, tell me about what you got going on in the woodworks.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll start off on the business end with my small business creative community solutions. We actually have two branches that we do, education-based as well as press and media services. On the education end, it ranges from the traditional one-on-one tutoring, and that includes going virtual, small groups, and then I'm very fortunate to expand into standardized test prep, so ACT, SAT, SSAT, and that's not only for community organizations, so I have to give recognition to Upward Bound up at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, where I've done their ACT prep,
okay.
Newton High School, and a couple others. So I'm really blessed to be working with some of the different community organizations, different schools to definitely help prepare young people. I think the biggest thing is the earlier you start, you give yourself a bigger window. So even if things don't go the way you planned the first time around,
okay,
you give yourself enough time to recover, regroup, and go ahead and go from there. So on the education end, it's real exciting. And then on the press and media end, working with smaller businesses and community organizations with their strategies, so like your press releases, your press and media kits, contact, with great entities like here, BInfluenced, and things along those lines. So, and I have to give acknowledgement to celebrity host Tyra Satai, who's been a great help in working on that, and that's one of the things you always have to acknowledge those who help you out. So I'll make sure to do that.
So what influenced you to create this platform?
Oh wow, part of it was my background in teaching in Gwinnett County Public Schools many moons ago.
How long did you teach for?
Oh, I taught from 2004 to 2009.
Okay.
And that was primarily at Pinckneyville Middle School, teaching social studies, language arts. But then on the nonprofit end, with the work that Michael Woodward, Latavia Woodward, Willie Cartwright, Evan Crawford, and a host of other folks, I saw where our foundation was growing and we were tapping into different schools, and I just took a leap of faith and was like, let me go ahead and transition here. So I'd still be in contact with working with young people, but I recall one time where I would have been gone about like 2-3 weeks, and as an educator, you can't be gone 3 weeks and be in the classroom. So that wasn't happening. But a blessing on that end is, just from still the ongoing work with the nonprofit, it's like, wait a minute, there's always going to be a need for people to get that extra help. They might not always be able to come in bright and early in the morning.
That's true.
And things along those lines, and being mobile. You learn a lot about the metro area, but you learn a lot about people. And I think ultimately, bottom line is people want to see young people be successful. They might not know all the ways in going about and doing it, and the way that they did it might not always mesh with the way that it needs to be done. But the bottom line is, any student that's doing well, they've gotten help from somebody in some way, shape, and form.
Okay.
And education is an investment. But if you're willing to make the investment, it opens up so many doors.
And the children are our future. So what is the youngest age that can attend this program?
Okay, in regards to kids that I work with on the tutoring end, I'll say primarily middle and high school, but I have worked with elementary students before. But that's part of my background with teaching middle school, so I know like grades 6, 7, 8, and then high school is what I won't say comfortable. I'm accustomed to working with, but I can work with elementary students.
Okay. And besides you having this platform as this business, I know you have other things going on. Tell us a little bit about those things you got going on.
Oh wow. Well, I'm blessed to have tapped into more of the writing skills, and now I'm a published author actually 2 times over.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I had previously written with Examiner.com. That was from 2010 to 2016 when they shut down operations. And I wanted to still keep the writing skills sharp. So even though I was doing a little bit on the press and whatnot, it's like, you know, you have some creative ideas, you have your journals, and it's like, let me go ahead and put pen. So what ended up happening is I was fortunate to be invited to the memorial service for Dr. Maya Angelou that took place at Wake Forest University, my alma mater. And when I got my invite, it was in the name of Joseph Snorton instead of Andrew. Now, I'm not the smartest one in here, but like Andrew to Adam, Andrew to Alex, you can see, but you're going on another end of the spectrum. So after taking time to do some research, tracked down this distant family member, and what we ended up doing is we recorded a series of different conversations. So again, the book is Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton. And what ended up happening is we retold the story in poetic form. So what we did is we looked at love through the broader relationships of parent, guardian, siblings, extended family, your community, different entities that are near and dear to you, people who are in your life, people who are no longer in your life. But to me, the most significant chapters are the last 2. The next to last chapter is taking inventory or self-reflection and looking at it through your eyes as to trying to make sense of what's going on. Then the final chapter is more of that spiritual conversation, which goes in a totally different direction. But unlike a lot of poetry books, what I did with this one at the very beginning of each chapter is a portion of the conversation. That way people know the topic and it's easier to engage, so you're walking in step with the author. Instead of sometimes you're reading it on one level, but then the writer's on a totally different level, and even though you're nodding this, the reality is I have no clue. So I wanted to eliminate that. And another thing I did to eliminate reading barriers, I only did chapter counts instead of page counts. And I did that because I know, and I've been guilty of it, I'll look at a book and I'll see 1,100 pages, I'm like, it's not happening. So by eliminating the page counts and just doing the chapter counts, for people that have an interest in reading, but they get intimidated by that, just taking away that intimidation factor.
I could definitely understand that. And as a fellow author as well, I have a motto that I go by. I aspire to inspire others through the power of words. What would that motto mean to you?
Oh, wow. That's huge. But words, there's power and meaning in words.
That's true.
And like they say, there's power in the, I'm paraphrasing, there's power in the tongue. So you gotta be real careful about what you say and how you say it, and acknowledge that you never know who you're influencing. You never know who you're reaching out to. You never know who you're motivating or encouraging. So as best as possible, I mean, own up to when you for lack of a term, fly off at the mouth and make a mistake, which we're all guilty of. But you just want to do what you can to do what seed planting. You never know who that next person is going to be.
That's true.
You really don't. And I've been blessed with this book. Definitely got to acknowledge the bookstores that are carrying it. So Black Dot Cultural Arts Center in Lithonia, Nubian Bookstore in Morrow, Madu Bookstore at Greenbrier Mall, Book Nook Decatur, Park Road Books up in Charlotte, North Carolina, Book Addictions up in Roanoke, Virginia, and I'm sure there'll be more coming. And I also have to give acknowledgments to the 2 major festivals that I was able to do last year, the Mississippi Book Festival, as well as the Literary Festival of Charlotte, which kind of bridges into my second book, which I thought was going to be ready February 13th, but it's actually ready now. And this one goes in a totally different direction, which is 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1. And the motivation behind this one is we understand how interesting a topic faith and spirituality can be. And what I wanted to do with this is I was very blessed to interview, it's 9 chapters, you can tell by the title. So there's actually 10 people that I interviewed. So one is a husband and wife team and individuals. But what I wanted to accomplish with this, were the following. Number one, all of us are dealing with something.
That's true.
And I think when you see what people are dealing with and what they do in order to manage through things, it hopefully gives perspective to whatever struggles that any one of us are dealing with. So, for example, one of the people who was interviewed lives with multiple sclerosis and has to use medicinal marijuana as part of the process in order to manage. However, one of the key things is her spiritual reading, her church attendance, things along those lines. Another individual served 10 years in prison. But the awesome thing is the same Bible verse he reads today is the same one he read all during his time of incarceration. and what have you. So when you're looking at these stories, it lets you know that there is a way through. It might not always be conventional. It might be a little bit creative or unconventional, but there's always a way through it. And people being that frank and that open with what's their biggest daily struggle and what do they do to manage that, that's huge. But also understanding through themes of spirituality, philosophical approaches, unconventional approaches, that they're doing something that's constructive and building them up without tearing down other people. And in this one, 6 of the chapters are through the lens of Christianity. One is through the lens of Hindu, and one's through the lens of Islam. And another thing is fostering understanding. One of the things I think about in church when people pass the peace, I think about the Islamic greeting, Assalamu alaikum, alaikum assalam, which is where you're passing peace. So while you might not agree with every tenet of every religion, there are some universal themes. And when you think about a lot of the misinformation that's out there regarding people of Islamic background or people of Christianity or people of Hindu or people of whatever, it's like, let's pause and pump our brakes, and why don't we listen to what people are talking about? And again, if we're listening for understanding, then that can kind of help bridge the gap on a couple of different things. So that's the hope. But I'm really excited to announce that it's actually available on Amazon now. I thought it was going to be ready on the 13th, but it's actually ready now. And I'm really excited. March 1st is when I'll do my Atlanta kickoff at Cat's Cafe from 6:30 to 8:15. Meet and greet, discussion, signing. And I'll also encourage people, in addition to coming out to Cat's on March 1st, not only for my event, stick around afterwards because they do a great open mic series. So that can mean other poets, other authors, musicians, things along those lines. So really
other authors could show up with their books as well?
I think so, yeah, definitely. So, any of those type of engagement opportunities are huge. So, again, both are available on Amazon, and I'll work on getting.
And I hear you have a hand in the Atlanta Derby weekend.
Oh, yeah, the Alfa Derby weekend, yes. I am blessed to be a part of the subcommittee Alphas of Atlanta, which is a collective of 8 of the graduate chapters in Metro Atlanta. So it's about 15 to 20 of us that among the different programs we do to help support our grad chapters at the Alfa Derby weekend. And in addition to general programming that our subcommittee does to support the work of the grad chapters, the Alfa Derby weekend is really that centerpiece.
Before I cut you off, what chapter do you represent?
Okay, the chapter I represent is Loganville Conyers, so I have to give hello to our chapter president, Joe Lee, and everybody else, because I know they kick me in the shit otherwise.
You see, I saved you.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. God looks out for children and fools, definitely. But the way the Alphas of Atlanta really got started initially was through the work of actually Calvin Whitaker, who's now based in Dallas, who went through at Georgia Tech, and Carlos Neal, who went through at Southern Polytech. And eventually the ball got carried by Marshall Taggart and eventually Michael Jones and Robert Cunningham. Michael Jones and Robert Cunningham serve as our co-chairs. So back in 2015, we decided let's just go ahead and do something that's different, something that'll be a great signature event for everybody to come out, have a nice time, and support multiple causes. So back in 2015, we did our inaugural Alfa Derby weekend. It was a 2-day event with the centerpiece event at the City Club of Buckhead. We had about 900 people that attended. From there, for 2016, we went from about 900 to about 1,500 and still keeping it as a 2-day event. Last year, we took on the ambitious role of adding a 3rd day, and on top of part of the main reason for doing the event, which is to help support 7 nonprofits, we added an 8th nonprofit last year. So last year we did as a 3-day event, centerpiece at the City Club, and then last year for our Sunday brunch, which we had about 400 people for our inaugural Sunday brunch featuring Trey Daniels. So in addition to the attendance going up each year, we've been blessed that the donations we've done to the nonprofits has gone up every year. So we probably donated between about 120 and 130 during the first 3 years of the event. This year for 2018, we're extremely excited and blessed. May 4th is the actual kickoff at the Grand Hyatt Buckhead, and it's featuring a live performance from Dougie Fresh and the entire Get Fresh crew. So they're doing the whole full concert. So we're very thankful to them, thankful to Chillwell Entertainment, Fire Entertainment. We're very, very grateful for them working with us. We'll have other announcements that are coming up later. May 5th, our signature event is actually upgrading to the Georgia World Congress Center. So I should be at the Georgia Ballroom, and that ballroom actually faces the Mercedes-Benz Dome, so it'll be indoors, outdoors, like
Wow.
we've been. Hat contest, vendors, just a great experience for everybody. And then May 6th, we'll be back at the Grand Hyatt Buckhead for our Sunday brunch featuring Trey Daniels. And then for the Mimosa fans, starting at 12:30 is when, hey, you've got to put that out there because it's for the grown folks.
Growing sexy.
But we're really blessed and really fortunate with everybody that is really supporting what we're doing. And we wanted to do something that was bigger than just looking at one parcel or one servicing area. The fact that we're doing an event to address multiple areas of need, it's definitely a blessing. So tickets went on sale January 1st. We're already excited to announce that our Saturday only VIPs are already sold out, and I think things are moving. Sure, I can share the info on that, which is fine. Yeah, the website for the Alpha Derby weekend is alphaderbyweekend.com. So again, alphaderbyweekend.com. If you click on the menu for tickets, it breaks down all of your different options. So like general admission for the entire 3 days is $135, but if people can't do the entire weekend, you can get individual day options. Another good thing for businesses that are out there, our business sponsor packages start at $250, and even for a $250 business sponsorship, that includes 2 passes for Friday and Saturday. You have the scrolling displays, and you can still have product placement for the grab bags. So we did that intentionally, so that way a lot of times smaller businesses get shut out from events along these lines. So for something as little as $250, you can still get exposure to, we're probably expecting anywhere between $300 to $3,500. Another thing I failed to mention is the attendance going up from 900 in 2015, 1,500 in 2016. Last year we had about 2,600. So we've been blessed that the attendance has gone up, but more important than the pomp and circumstance and the pageantry and the programming is that the donations to these nonprofits is increasing too.
But this year's going to be 35,000 showing up.
Well, not 35,000. That might be too big. Let's just go with 35. Let's just shoot for 35,000. 35,000. That'll be like a whole small city. But we're really excited.
I'm manifesting it.
we're really excited. We've been blessed not only the support we've gotten here from Atlanta, but a third of our guests come from out of town. So when you can have cities like Birmingham, Charlotte, Chicago, Nashville, Dallas, Houston, Memphis, Macon, and then we've been blessed each year. We've had a group come from outside the United States, so from Barbados one year, Italy.
Wow. It
just lets people know, and it lets us know, are we doing a quality event? Absolutely. Are we always looking for ways to continue to grow? Absolutely. And just do it for the right reasons, which is, like I said, ultimately it's about putting money back in the community. And like we said from the beginning, when you have nonprofits that are working with elementary, middle, and high school students, it lets you know that we're trying to do the seed planting that we need to for the kids, definitely.
Well, people, I hope he was influenced. This is the great man, Andrew Snorton. Please check him out. It was a pleasure having this interview with you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Hey, thanks.
I'm Morris Michelle with BInfluenced, and we out.